We've now conducted the chi-square goodness of fit test in Jamovi, so now we just need to report the results. So I'm going to show you how to write it out in APA style notation and then write the results in paragraph format. So you can see here, this is the notation format. You would report the test statistic, which is the chi-square, and then you're going to report degrees of freedom. In the chi-square goodness of fit and other in independence, you'll report the sample size as well. So you write the degrees of freedom, a comma, and then n equals the size of the sample. The estimated p-value is more accurate with larger sample sizes, and the size of the sample can influence the p-value itself. So you really want to report the sample size with it for accuracy. And then you're going to report the chi-square value, followed by a comma, and then the p-value. And again, the p-value is italicized, no leading zero for the p-value. And I prefer that you report the actual number, unless it's really small, and then you could write, p is less than 0.001 or p is less than 0.01. But other than that, I want you to report the p-value rather than just say p is less than 0.05 or p is greater than 0.05. So here we have this have the results here. And so I just want to point out where these come from. So our degrees of freedom is right here. So it'd say 1 and then a comma and n equals, and this, it doesn't actually give you the n in Jamovi, but it's just the actual count. So the observed count added together, which in this case is 35. And then we're going to get our chi-square is what's going to go right there. So we would write out 0.74. And then the p-value is going to be right here. So 0.39. And then how we write that out in paragraph format. So we're going to go ahead, and I just have the notation here. You wouldn't write it above it. I just have it to note here. But a chi-square goodness of fit test determined the proportion of first-generation students in the sample. And it's fine to say proportion of first-generation students in the sample and then report percentage. You could also say the percentage of first-generation students in the sample, but I did put in the sample is 42.86%, and that it's not significantly different from the proportion of first-generation students in the population at Fresno State, which was 64.10%. I then have a comma, and then the notation is at the end of that sentence. So that's how you write about this in APA style. Again, you can have variations on this. You could also refer to a table like C table for the contingency table, which is the table that the chi-square information breaks down the observed versus expected values. So you can do modifications of this, but again, it has kind of the basic information, the name of the test, that should say goodness of fit test. And then it has some sample statistic information, the proportion number that we're comparing to, and then the APA style notation, which is the kind of important elements for reporting this in APA style.